Thank you very much. And I'm very happy to be invited here to see such bright young faces, adorable young leaders, I would say, of the future. Tomorrow, you guys would be sitting at this chair, and what maybe tomorrow, the top of the Air Force, which we are going to talk about. I hope I will be able to inspire you by my experiences. But before I could speak to you about my experiences, I thought I would take this occasion just to tell you a little bit about the Indian Air Force. I hope all of you would be interested to know a brief history of the Indian Air Force. The Indian Air Force was officially formed on 8th of October 1932. At that time, the Indian Air Force, known as the Royal Indian Air Force, which was part of the British Raj, or we call the Royal Air Force. But it had its own reformation at the time of independence, and partition split the Indian Air Force, the Royal Indian Air Force, into two, the Indian Air Force and the Pakistan Air Force. So there was a lot of changes which have taken place down the line from the time of the formation in 1932. As you know, the Indian military constitutes of the three arms: the Indian Air Force, the Indian Navy, and the Indian Army. This is the formation of the Indian Armed Forces. And in the Indian Armed Forces is the second largest armed forces in the world. The Indian Air Force is the fourth largest air force in the world, just after USA, Russia, and China. The Indian Air Force is headed by the Air Force Chief at the rank of Air Chief Marshal. So the primary role of the armed forces is to secure and protect and defend the nation from external aggression. But the armed forces use different wings for guarding different categories. The Army takes care of the land, the Navy takes care of the waters, and the Indian Air Force take care of the Indian airspace. The headquarters of the Indian Air Force is in New Delhi, but the power is decentralized between 7 commands, which are Western Air Command, the Eastern Air Command, Southern Air Command, Central Air Command, Training Command, Maintenance Command, and Southwestern Air Command. There are 7 commands which the power is decentralized, and different locations we have come under different commands. Now, the most interesting thing for all of you come under 2 sections. That one is the flying branch and one is the ground duty branch. The flying branch has got the fighter fleet, the helicopter fleet, and the transport fleet. The ground duty branch has got the technical and non-technical. The technical branch has the brilliant engineers, the aeronautical engineers, electrical engineers, and all the people who make the planes and build the planes and maintain the planes, the aeroplanes. And the non-technical is a very, very, very large branch, which has got the air traffic control, logistics, administration, accounts, and it's a very huge section. Now, anyone who wants from you, who want to join the Air Force, who doesn't want flying, who want to play with the planes and do the technical, mechanical stuff and everything, or someone wants to only know about finances and accounts and economics, there is space for everyone, each one of you in the Indian Air Force. And also at this point, I want to tell you, there is no differentiation now between man and woman, male and female in the Indian Air Force. We have equal opportunities for men and women in the armed forces. Unlike earlier, it was a male-dominated space, but now every one of you, if you want to fly, you want to work in the Indian Air Force as any other officer or any other, even as a software engineer, everything is possible. Said that, I would like to just tell you about the type of fleets which we have. This is also of some interest for our children. I will keep it very short about the Air Force, and then I'll come to my experiences, like your headmistress said. Okay, we have MiG fleets, the Sukhoi fleet, Mirage 2000, Rafale, which you must have heard about in the recent times, the MiG-29s and the MiG-21s. It's a large fleet in the fighter stream, and the helicopters have got the Mi series, which are the Mi-17, Mi-8, Mi-26, the attack helicopters, which is Mi-35, 25, Apaches. It's a large fleet. The Chetak and Cheetah helicopters, the Chinook helicopters, which we have acquired from US, and then our own made ALH, the advanced light helicopters, which was made by the Indian Pride, the HAL. And the transport fleet, also we have a huge fleet like the Illusion 76, the Boeings and the CJ, the Hercules, the big ones, which we again got from the US. Then the Antonov 32, N32, which we call it, and the Airbus, Dornier. There's so many. That's also a large fleet. That's why I said the Indian Air Force is the 4th largest Air Force in the world. Okay, the Indian Air Force has fought 4 wars against Pakistan after the independence, 1947, very successfully, and also fought a big war against China in 1962. All talk about how successful the Indian Air Force has been about guarding our nation and guarding the borders of this big country. The modernization is an ongoing process in the Indian Air Force. It's always getting modernized. They're buying new machines, new aircrafts, and upgrading the present aircraft. And we are also acquiring missile systems. We have a huge missile wing again in the Indian Air Force. I would stop at that about the Air Force. I know the children would be more wanting to know what I did with the Air Force and why I went to the Air Force. I was a very, very normal kid like all of you when I was young, very playful, very active, and very energetic. This I can tell you because I was not always just sitting with the books or the computer. Well, we did not have much access to the computers at those times. I was always very active. I used to be a good sportsman, very good in cultural activities, taking part in debates, discussions, and quizzes. So there was a lot of activities which used to go, unlike now, a nominated school leader. In my school, we had elected school leaders. So I was the school leader when I was in the school. So I used to take part in a wide variety of stuff other than academics. I was just above average in academics, and maybe nothing to say about gold medals, but yes, maybe in the first 10 in the schools. But later, I even gave up that just to be an above average student when I was in the college. Why I want to highlight all these things, because just reading books will not achieve everything in life. Yes, it has got its value, but I very strongly believe that wholesome development is very important for all of you to reach a very successful, to be successful in life. I was like any other kid. I was very fascinated with aviation. I used to think how to get into this cockpit. So I gave one shot for the ND exam after my 12th standard without any preparation, and I did not make it. So I decided, okay, let me go with the graduation. We have another opportunity after your graduation. So I prepared a little bit when I was doing my final exams. I went and gave the exams, and I was successful and went into the SSB. When I went to the SSB, I found that I was brilliant in the SSB, even though I was an average student. All my activities, which my teachers used to tell me in my school, that I am a jack of all trades but master of none. I used to think that this is a negative point in me. But when I went to the SSB, I found that this jack of all trades became the master there. I passed out in flying colors in the SSB because I could speak. I was confident. I was a good leader. I was a good sportsman. I had self-confidence. I had leadership. I had all the qualities which we were looking at, especially in the Air Force, which they were looking for. They call it OLQ, the officer lecture. I'm very sure none of you have to be worried that, oh, I'm not first in the class or I'm last in the class. I'm not doing well. Any of you, if you want, just keep doing what you like to do and keep pushing, not just the books, but be sure that you do a lot of extracurricular activities, sports, and that you aim for a wholesome development. This is something which I wanted to tell you. When you go to the Air Force, what they do to you about your training, you start from table etiquettes. You go, you know how to dress up to the occasion, learn about what is punctuality, what is time management, and how it is to be working under pressure, you get a lot of physical training. You can engage in sports. You can do horse riding. You can do swimming. We even go and train ourselves for jungle survival, desert survival, snow survival. And along with all this, a lot of academics, and also we do flying. Why I say also we do flying, because in the Air Force, the flying, though it is primary duty, it comes along with the entire game of it. As a young officer, I was posted in Kashmir. My first posting was in Kashmir, and I know your headmistress at that time, because her Mrs. Simi Shafi's husband, Shafi, was in my first posting. We had a lot of activities out there. I have a great regard for your headmistress.
Was spy in the airport?
Yeah, of course. Anyone can become a pilot in the Air Force, Abigail.
Not pilot, spy.
Spy? Oh, okay. This is part of the question. I can understand your interest. Spies, we have a wing for the armed forces, which is called RAW, Research and Analysis Wing. They take care of all this intelligence. Yes, there are spies within Army intelligence and Air Force intelligence and Navy intelligence. But I know you are inspired by the James Bond movie, No Time to Die, maybe, which was out recently.
Sir, it's me, yes. Hannah. I just wanted to ask you, how many years of experience do you have in Air Force?
Oh, I was there less than 13 years. I had come out quite early, but I have in my field experience 31 years.
That's great. Sir, what was your target in the Air Force, like the rank? Some people say like they want to be like a general in the army. That's the target. What is yours?
Yes, I wanted to be part of the flying branch, and then my passion was aviation. So I continued till the time I could fly in the Indian Air Force. That was my target, fly as much as I can.
Oh, okay. Thank you, sir. In Republic Day, they have like aeroplanes drop a color and make our country's flag. How do they do that?
Wonderful question. You have seen the aircrafts doing aerobatics, do the circus in the air, right? That's what you're talking about. So there is something called the exhaust of the engines. So they inject some kind of colors in the exhaust. That is, you must have seen in a car, there is a silencer through which the smoke comes out behind. Yes. Similarly, for the aircraft engines have got something called the exhaust. And so when they're doing this exercise, they inject the colors which they want. So if they want the green at the bottom and the white in the middle and the saffron on the top, so the aircraft which is going on the top is injected with saffron color, white color in the middle aircraft, and the green color at the bottom. And then they just release that color at a particular time when they fly together in a row, so that flag forms in the air. It is just a technique. You must have seen that these colors are not there for the regular planes. That's because they don't inject the colors into the exhaust. Here it is done deliberately at certain point of time during aerobatic exercise to bring this flag and these colors in the air.
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Arav?
Yeah.
Yes, Arav.
Does the MiG have like two mini guns under it? They like shoot when you press a button like that under the plane, and the guns like that.
I understood what he's asking. What Arav is asking is the fighter planes which go in the air, they shoot missiles and rockets pods to some enemy targets, right? And how they do it is they have, before they take off, they attach these rockets and missiles, whatever they require, under the wings. And the pilot has got a trigger mechanism, and when they have the lenses and the target, once they have the target within their sight, and then they activate these buttons for the rockets or the missiles, and then wherever your sight is pointing, the missiles will head for that. So it's a very simple procedure.
I am proud of you, Salute.
Oh, thank you very much.
Yeah. Have you ever lost control of flying?
Ishan is very smart. Ishan, every pilot will have a lot of experiences when you're flying. I have flown 31 years in life. I started flying when I was just about 20, and then I'm still flying. If you come across a lot of situations during your while in the Air Force, I have force landed in some places. I won't say completely lost controls, yes, but then we have done force landings and at many places, but we survived. We know what to do in an emergency, so we survived.
What if the fuel was gone?
A pilot will always carry enough fuel with him whenever he is flying. But yes, there are instances where fuel leaks can happen. You can lose some fuel, but all indications are given well in advance. Most of the aircrafts has got very good warning systems and early warning systems. Adit asked me whether we get scared in danger, right? That was a question, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, Adit. There are many aspects about how to handle danger. One is you are headed with the danger when off the guard. This is something we react spontaneously, and this comes within yourself.